welcome to Book World, The Great Escape. I'm author CJ Peterson. Over here is my co-host, author Michael Scott Clifton. Welcome. We are on season 5, episode 2. The bugs have been worked out. We are currently on Facebook this time. Yay! We got locked out last time, so super sorry about that. We have Super Hubby watching. Hey, Super Hubby. So yes, we are currently on Facebook this time. It worked out great. We've gotten that bug worked out. So hey, Facebook people, sorry about that last time. We weren't able to come live. So glad we were able to join us. Those watching on YouTube, hey guys. So today we're going to be, last week we interviewed Mike to catch up. Today we're interviewing me. So Mike, hi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the second episode of 2026. And we're going to be interviewing you, CJ, this week. And I know a lot has gone on since last year. Last time we had an episode. And so we're going to catch up on a lot of what you have done and what you've got ahead of you. So I think a lot of the people that regularly watch Book World may or may not be aware of exactly why we were, off the air, so to speak, for 6 months or so. So it had to do with some health issues you had. And why don't you tell us exactly what happened?
It was actually a lot more than 6 months. It was actually
a year.
Over a year.
Actually started in 2 years and a half ago, didn't it? Yes.
It was about a year and a half ago. A year ago in September, I found out that I had synovial sarcoma cancer. And that's when I found out that we needed to pull the plug. Because I'm more the techie of the two of us. And unfortunately, Mike is not. And so we realized that I couldn't do both because I had to have surgery on my hip, which caused a hip replacement, as well as pulling out 2 of those tumors for synovial sarcoma. And then I had to go to radiation therapy. And I also wanted to make sure that I was beyond a point of making sure that the little buggers weren't coming back. And so I want to make sure that I was a year past the point of, because I have to have scans every 3 months. And so I want to make sure that I was past that point, the safety point of being able to breathe before I came back. Because I didn't want to reinitiate it and then come back and say, oh no, we have to suspend it again. So I want to make sure that there was a safety point before we came back and reinitiated it. Okay. So I am now a year past the point in September where it says that it's okay. And so we are now past that point. As of September, it is a year of no cancer in the body. So yay, that's where we're at.
Yay. Hey, there we go.
Fireworks.
So we're very happy, CJ. And of course, I do have some tech skills. I can turn a phone on and off. I can, turn my computer on and off. But your tech skills compared to mine are somewhat like the Stone Age car that Fred Flintstone drove as opposed to a Maserati today. So
you're learning though. You are learning.
I own my non-techiness. So
you did put out your very first newsletter by yourself.
Yeah.
I was proud of you for that.
Yep. So the old adage about a broken clock's at least right twice a day. So that's probably true. So now you were a prolific author, CJ, prior to even starting Book World, before we even started our doing Book World 5 years ago. So you have previous books, but you also have new books that you have either in the hopper or you're fixing to publish. Why don't you tell us about them?
Yep. I am a multi-genre author, and currently I'm writing a fantasy series. And I like to pull in people from my real world. And currently I'm on a podcast with 2 other co-hostesses. And those co-hostesses and all 3 of our hubbies are actually characters within this fantasy series. And I'm really excited about it. I try to keep a lot of it under wraps, but I was able to create multiple species within this fantasy series. And so fantasy is a new genre for me. I'm a sci-fi geek. I will own it. in case you can't tell by my background. Super sci-fi geek. And so writing a fantasy for me has been something I've wanted to do. I have supernatural paranormal. I do have sci-fi. I have time travel. I have, all sorts of books, which we'll get to in just a minute. And so fantasy is a new one for me, but I got to create different species. I got to create all sorts of fun stuff, and I'm super excited. I have so far 2 out of the 3 written, and so it's been fun.
Wow. Well, 20, how many books total, CJ? 26?
Um,
30?
no, I have 19. No, not quite.
Okay.
I have 19 novels published. I'm in 4 anthologies, and I have 2 children's books. Children's books is not my forte, but I have 19 novels. I'm in 4 anthologies. I have 2 children's books. I have 10 book awards. One of those book awards is for one of the series. And so, yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. The main overall envelope is Christian fiction. But people, it's not your mama's Christian fiction. So if you're looking for Janet Oki, you might want to keep looking. I warn people, I am not Janet Oki. As I explained, I have supernatural paranormal. I have time travel. I'm trying to look what I've got back there. I've got time travel. I've got one series that I kind of describe as like Stranger Things minus the Mind Flayer stuff meets X-Men. I've got romance. I've got all sorts of fun stuff. A portion of the proceeds of my novels actually do go to different charities. So you get a good read and you also get to help a charity at the same time. So I like to kind of pay it forward and help different charities. And those are explained on my website, which is cjpetersonwrites.com. cjpetersonwrites.com for those who are listening. And literally under the books tab, they're separated by the different series. And right before you hit each series is a section that literally explains which charity the novels go to.
Okay. Now you mentioned awards.
Mhm.
Would you be a little bit more specific on some of the awards that you have, or the awards you have that you've earned?
Sure. There's Best Christian Fiction Novel. There's for Texas Book Festival, I've won first place a couple times. I've won second place. I missed it by 1/10 of a point for first place. I've won a couple of third places. I've won for children's books, I've won Purple Dragonfly Award, which is a National Book Award. For those who do children's books, they know that that's actually a highly valued award for children's books. Like I said, I've won for Best Christian Fiction Series for my Divine Legacy series. I'm trying to think what else. Pretty much they all add up to 10. If you go to my website, it's on the first page, and it actually has them listed right below what they are.
Okay, quite a list. So we're both involved in Comic-Cons. Of course, I'm more of a person that has a booth, a vendor, and go to a lot of Comic-Cons. But as I understand it, you actually are not only involved in Comic-Cons, you actually are helping run some Comic-Cons and or having them organized throughout Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana. Will you want to fill in our listeners on how exactly that works?
Yeah, it was a happy mistake. We went to a Comic-Con where I used to actually do what you do, which is sell the books. Because of what I do, right, they fit in perfectly to Comic-Cons.
Sure.
Authors are aware of that. If you do have anything that's like sci-fi, paranormal, that sort of thing, selling your books at Comic-Cons is a great way to get them out.
Sure is.
And if I happen to be going to a Comic-Con and you're interested in any of my books, please let me know and I will bring them to you and I will sell them to you there. But I went to a Comic-Con and the Comic-Con owner, it was actually during COVID time, the Comic-Con owner got COVID and so did his second.
Oh, gosh.
And so when I got there, nothing was done. And so administration is one of my gifts. And so I got there and everything was a mess. And I'm like, oh, for crying out loud, this is not good. And so I'm like, okay, give me the floor plan, give me the list, and give me your numbers, as in the table numbers and who's connected to them. And so my husband took the tape measure because he's also administration. He took the tape measure, grabbed about 3 or 4 people, and they started measuring the floor. I grabbed people as they came in. We started seating people, and I just kind of took over and started putting out fires, so to speak, for the weekend. And I got my table for free. Oh, there's the balloons. I got my table for free that weekend, and my sister ran it. And then, like I said, I was putting out fires all weekend, and the guy who took over for the guy that got sick was like, "Hey, I like your style." And so he's just like, "Hey, come work for me." And so, like I said, it was a happy mistake. And basically, I run the floor of Comic-Cons.
And
So
that's not an easy job. If anyone has ever attended a Comic-Con, the amount of work that goes in just to getting the layout and where people are supposed to go, because you only have a finite amount of space between vendor booths, it's the schematics would have me pulling my hair out. So I don't know how you do it, but congratulations.
It's beautiful fun. I'm 5'11", so you usually see like the red hair streak running across the floor. That's me. But it's fun. I get to know tons of vendors, tons of artists. I get to know all the guests. So there's these autographs that you see behind me are mostly from a lot of the guests I know. There's like literally walls of autographs behind me, and really cool extra things. Super Hubby and I like to get unique items from a lot of the guests. We've had things like a machete that's been signed. We have Kevin Sorbo's pop signed. We have several other unique things that have been signed. And it's really unique, actually, not just getting things signed, but getting to know the guests themselves.
Yeah.
Human. Getting to know their personalities. They're amazing people. And getting to know them on a personal level is really cool. And getting to know these vendors and seeing them at each different Comic-Con is like old family week, walking like, "Hey, CJ," like, "Hey, it's you again."
Yeah.
It's really cool and it's super fun. And so when we get to see them at each different con, they're like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, I know that you had struggles. You had the surgery. How you feeling?" They've seen me in a wheelchair at some points. They've seen me at one point. I broke one ankle and sprained one ankle at the same time. Yes, I'm that talented. It was prior to the whole surgery with the cancer thing. So they've seen different phases of, going through different things. As Super Hubby says, meeting different authors. There's lots of different perks of working these Comic-Cons and just meeting tons of people and even just meeting people that attend the Comic-Cons, and you see them at the same Comic-Cons each year. Like, "Hey, I remember you. You were an elf last year. That was an awesome costume or awesome cosplay. Hey, I remember you were Merida last year with your bear. You helped my daughter." And it's like you get to see them again, and it's really cool because the Comic-Con is a family. It's a family world. And when you get to see them year after year after year, it's really cool. And it's something you just don't forget. And being a geek myself, it's something that I treasure. And it's a different world. And people have sports world and they think that that's a cool world. Well, I think the geek world is a cool world. And it's a world that not everybody fits into.
That's right.
And when they don't fit into the sports world or the academic world, that's a world that's unique to just them.
That's right.
It's a really cool world. And it's a world that's beyond imagination that a lot of authors eventually do fit into. And to me, that's a super cool world. It's a world where a lot of artists and creatives fit into that is unique in and of itself that many don't understand. But you know what? A lot of creatives do.
That's right. You can really let your hair down at a Comic-Con that you can't do at other places and feel comfortable about it.
And the guy that we work with, we will only work with him. and his Comic-Cons are family friendly. So like the Comic-Con that we're going to be running in Brazoria, which is in Lake Jackson on February 28th and March 1st, is the first Comic-Con for the year. And like I said, it's family friendly, Lake Jackson. Look it up, BrazoriaComicCon.com. We already have 3 guests that are announced, which is Vic Mignogna, Karen Ashley, who was the Yellow Power Ranger, and I'm gonna get in trouble for that. Alan Robinson, who was the person for the guy who did Scream, the Scareface guy. He's going to be there. So far, those are the 3 guests that are announced. Ghostface, thank you, Super Hubby. Him, Ghostface, and so those are 3 great people. We've worked with all 3 of them. They are amazing people, and so I already know it's going to be an amazing Comic-Con, and I know already a lot of the vendors who are going to be there. And I know that this is our 4th year in that with this particular Comic-Con, and I know that each one of those people that are going to be there are incredible people. And I look forward to this particular Comic-Con. And so, again, it's a family. That's, I guess, all I can say with that.
Well, Comic-Cons, of course, we don't have the level of involvement that you do in terms of setting it up. Logistically, I can see how that would be something that you really have to stay on top of. But you're right, you do make friends. You do. We've made good friends, Melanie and I, and people that are creative are naturally attracted to Comic-Cons. And of course, what we write fits right in for the most part with that as well. So if you've not been to one, been just watching Book World, you've never been to a Comic-Con, there's plenty out there. You might want to take the time, try to attend a Comic-Con. Trust me, it will be a memorable experience.
If you do, I would start small.
Right. And that's another thing you might mention on that, as well. And that is that Comic-Cons are not all created equal. I don't know how much time you want to spend on that. And there are varying sizes from ginormous to small to medium sized.
Totally.
Yeah. So besides Comic-Cons, you're very busy in other activities in other areas as well. So what are some of the other areas that you're active, that you're involved in as well?
Well, this isn't my only podcast. I also have Magic Making Mischief, which I mentioned. My Magic Making Mischief sisters are characters in my new series that I'm currently writing. It's connected to Comic-Cons. We interview everything from voice actors to actors to cosplayers to everything on the in-between. We actually just interviewed the Fair of Champions people. We've had everything on that one, and that one is on Tuesday nights at 7:00. They call us the Giggle Squad. We have so much fun. They're ADHD. I'm ADD, and so it gets hysterical sometimes. We went off on bacon. There's a Comic-Con called Bacon, and I'm like, why didn't they have Kevin Bacon as a guest yet? It goes off on some funny tangents. So that's one thing that I also do. I'm author, vlogger. I have a vlog called Journey Through the Dash, which is the dash is the difference between your birth date and your death date. So pretty much everything on the in-between. We have a couple friends that we like to go out and explore different areas in OKC, which is where I live. We also, Super Heavy and I love to travel. So sometimes I'll do like short videos when we travel. We went to Hawaii this last year. There are tons of travel videos in places that we went to. We also went to Bryce Canyon. We went to a couple other places in Utah. We went to another national park up in, is it Idaho, Super Hubby? I think we went to Crater of the Moon. I do speaking engagements. So we went to a speaking engagement up in Pennsylvania. I got to teach. I love teaching. That's one of my fun things I love to do. I love to teach. I have tons of different things that I can speak on. As varied as they come. So if it's something that's not on my list in my website of things that I can speak on, trust me, I can probably figure it out. Craters of the Moon. Yes, that's where we went to, is Craters of the Moon. That place is wild, let me tell you. But if you go to my website under speaker, there's tons of subjects that I have on there. If it's not on there, let me know. I can probably figure it out. But I'm a speaker, I'm a publisher as well. So I've got that under my belt. I think what else? Oh, YouTuber, which is what the Journey Through the Dash is. Creating content. I just like to have fun, pretty much.
Well,
And so we video it all the time.
and you do have a lot of fun, CJ.
Well, life is short. Like I said, with cancer last year, I was going to school for psychology and forensics. And I found out about the cancer literally in the middle of class.
Yeah, I remember that.
Took the wind right out of me. I had to call super hubby and call him out of class. And then we had to tell my daughter. And so because of that, I actually ended up leaving school. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go back to school. Super hubby and I decided to pretty much take life by the horns and run with it.
Take it as it comes.
Pretty much.
Yep.
We're getting up there and we're like, you know what? We have a bucket list. And so we're taking it and running with it with a bucket list. Hawaii was on it. We've already knocked that off. We've got a couple other places we want to go. We're just taking life and running with it and seeing where it takes us.
You've done a lot of things, had a lot of activities, and of course, we've known each other for a number of years now. I've never known you not to put 100% in whatever you get involved in, and the book world, out of the blue, started that, and of course, you have quite a variety of things, CJ, that the average person, probably wouldn't be involved in, but there's nothing wrong with that, because if the world was filled with people that did the same thing over and over again, it would be a pretty boring place. And to be an author, especially as in the genres that you write in, you have to have that kind of open imagination to be able to write the stories, that you do. So I just think all of these things that you've mentioned just kind of adds to that experience and probably helps with either present or in future stories and new books and things. So, yeah.
Craters of the Moon gave me so much inspiration. When we went to Bryce Canyon, actually, is where I got an idea for the current series that I'm working on. I was trying to kind of work through it, and I actually took a picture of it because it ended up being an element in the current series that I'm writing.
It's funny you mention that, because my dad used to take us when we were kids all over the Southwest, and Bryce Canyon was one of the first places we went to back in the day. And you can imagine 2 adults and 3 kids in a camper, those old campers that used to slide in the back of a truck bed. Yeah, it was fun.
Well, even when we went to Hawaii, I found different elements for the different species, because Hawaii has a lot of different elements in its landscapes. We went to, I think it was Oahu and Kauai, if I'm not mistaken, and it was like some of their lore ended up in the series, and some of the way that it's structured.
So do you have any other trips planned? You in the bucket list, you and Trevor?
We do.
Places you still want to go to and visit?
There are a couple other places that are on that list, yes.
Okay.
That will be planned, yes. And so yeah, life is what you make it, and that's what that dash is for. And who knows if I end up going to one of these 3-month things and it comes back that there's synovial sarcomas back. We have a new guy. Hi. New person. And who knows if one of these points that I go back to one of these scans and the cancer's back. I want to know that I made that dash and I made it to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
And that's what my plan is.
Look forward, thought
Mhm.
back. Yep.
Exactly.
Words to live by, and I mean that in a sincere way. I think if more people did that, whether they're healthy as a horse or otherwise, we'd have a lot more happier people in the world today. So
Live your life to the fullest.
while you can. That's right. Yep.
You never know.
Go to
I
a
mean,
Comic-Con.
third
That'll put something in your bucket list.
accident, who knows?
Right.
Yes, gospel in every novel. God and I made a deal that we would publish the books and he would get them into the hands of those who need it. And I would put the gospel in every novel.
Wow.
Shelly's here. Hi, Shelly. So that's what we've done. And we don't care about the actual money that comes in as long as it reaches the people that it reaches. And throughout the years, I've gotten some awesome reviews and some very touching reviews. And those reviews are the ones that I keep for those days when you can't figure out why you're doing this and why you're writing at all. Because there are days you're like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
You feel like writing is just, I can't remember, it was Stephen King who said, writing is just bleeding on a page.
Yeah, it's like you're running, but you're not getting any traction. It's like you're not moving forward. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So
some days you're like, why am I doing this?
Right.
Especially when you're going to push that publish and you're just like, is anybody actually going to like this? Is anybody actually going to read this? And it's for those people, for those reviews that you get.
Mm-hmm. And, Book World has many, many topics that we've talked about in the past and will in the future on writing for potential authors and people that are interested in books and anything having to do with you mentioned publishing books, writing, Comic-Cons. So, it's a pretty rich and target rich podcast, I think. I think it's what makes it unique. So, of course, I'm biased.
Just a little bit. If I had any advice for anybody who is interested in writing, I would say write what you know, write from the heart. And if you don't know, find somebody who does, so it can be as close to the truth as you can get it without being fully truth. That would be great.
Good. That's good.
Okay. So I can get it on paper. That was my other one, was always, you have to get the sand in the box before you can start to build the castle.
That's a good one too.
You can research your heart out, but until you get the sand in the box, you're not going to get anywhere. So next week we have George Dismukes. If you don't know who he is, Google him because he has lots of books out and he is an interesting character. So he will be here next week at 4:00 Central Time, same place you found us. He's an awesome dude. Cannot wait to have him back. He will be here next week, 4:00 Central Time. Check it out. In the meantime, you find my stuff at cjpetersonwrites.com. That's CJ Peterson Writes, CJPetersonwrites.com. You can find Mike's stuff at author Michael Scott Clifton. Is it michaelscottclifton.com?
Yes.
So you want to spell it out for him real quick?
Author Michael Scott Clifton.
Oh, it's michaelscottclifton.com.
Yes, michaelscottclifton.com. There, MICHAELCLIFTON.com. Author michaelscottclifton.com.
It's MICHAELSCOTTCLIFTON.com.
You got it. Yeah.
In the meantime, check us out. Book World, The Great Escape. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. See you guys next week. Bye.
See you. Bye bye.